So the Kentucky governor's race is heating up. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about some of the issues, and I want to talk about the economy. So the Mike O'Connell's son Matt was found dead Monday in a car parked in the 1800 block of Payne Street outside an apartment building. This just goes to show the hypocrisy of the war on drugs. Mike O'Connell is the fucking county judge or the county attorney for Louisville, and so he's an asshole, right? Been throwing motherfuckers into prison for a lot of shit, and his own son died of a heroin overdose outside in his car. He was found dead in his car. And so these hypocritical fucking bastards don't give a shit about anybody but their own fucking wealth and their own fucking power. They don't have any compassion. They have no empathy. This piece of shit, you know, he's going to sit there and fuck over how many families has he fucked over, and his own goddamn family is getting into the fucking heroin business, overdosed with heroin. And then everybody's like, well, it's amazing. Know how, you know, prayers for the family. You know, don't pray for, if anything ever happens, you know, to me or my own, don't pray for me. You know, that's just some bullshit to make you feel better, but it actually doesn't help anybody else. So I don't want your fucking fake ass fucking prayers. Why don't you actually get up off the couch and do something? Why don't you actually sit there and talk about, you know, well, what the solutions are to these problems? The solution to these problems, it's a public health issue. We're criminalizing people. The war on drugs has failed, and it's absolute bullshit. Now, this has nothing to do with the governor's race. This is just to show the hypocrisy. But we do have Will T. Scott. So Will T. Scott, he does the same exact thing. Will T. Scott, he has a son who eventually he moved up. Will T. Scott was an ex-Kentucky Supreme Court justice. He's dropped out. He's resigned. He's running for governor. And he's got some interesting ideas. He wants the schools to have freedom. You know, he wants freedom to be in the schools, and he wants to be free from terrorists, which is somehow related to him, related, you know, with him. He thinks they're somehow one is the other. But anyways, we should be free from any type of terrorism. Terrorism is when the the terrorists attack the civilians to affect government policy. So murdering Eric Garner, murdering Samantha Ramsey, that's terrorism. That's absolutely terrorism. Drone strikes on Yemeni weddings, you know, all the killings in Latin America, the coup d'etats, the empire, okay? Fighting for freedom and fighting for empire, two different things. And since we're talking about the war, Jack Conway was for the Iraq War. Jack Conway was for the Iraq War. And eventually, 10 years later, he changes his mind about it. But that just shows me that he didn't have the moral clarity to say that war, that murdering people is wrong. And if we as a society can't even say murder is wrong, we don't agree on anything. You basically a bunch of fucking psychopaths, a bunch of inbred, backwards-ass, fucking toothless psychopaths. You know, just a bunch of savage barbarians. And that's, you know, that's really sad. So Jack Conway didn't have the moral clarity when the war began to fucking step out of the box and say, no, this is wrong, this is bullshit. And so, you know, that's important. You want somebody that's got, you know, a strong moral core, strong moral guidance. The golden rule works for me. I love the golden rule. I don't hurt others because I don't want to be hurt. You know, simple, easy. So the back to Will T. Scott. He had a son who he elevated into the business. He was going to be a judge or justice or some shit. So he was going to get, you know, make $1 million off of Kentucky taxpayers. And then while he, you know, was elevating him, they found out that Andrew H. Scott was accommodating amphetamine or some shit. They try to make it, you know, try to put it down as, you know, as least as possible. But he bought some Adderall. He bought Adderall. Supposedly he's got ADHD. So Will T. Scott wants to talk about freedom in the schools. Well, that's good. You know, he's talking about freedom of choice in the schools. But it seems like it's still going to be oppression. And I'll explain that here in a second. But the ADHD, that is just a common occurrence for oppression. I can't sit still when I got an oppressor lecturing at me, talking to me like I'm stupid, like I don't know anything, and like I need to just shut up and sit down. Who the fuck can sit there and tolerate that shit? And especially young boys, they have more energy. And so instead of actually, you know, allowing boys to be boys, we're trying to kill their souls. Shut up, sit down, do your damn work, right? Be lovely and pretty and submissive, because that's how boys are going to succeed in this world. And that's just that goes against humanity. Plus, it goes against manhood. Well, but that's what his son is on. He's on ADHD. He's taking Adderall, and then he buys Adderall on the street. So he buys Adderall on the street, and he tries to sit there and say that it was entrapment. He said that the woman asked him so many times to buy the Adderall, he had to give in. What could he do? Say no? Could he say no 20 times when you're being harassed and nagged to death? That's his argument. But it's bullshit argument. He's in the business of illegal drugs. He bought illegal drugs, got busted for it, and then eventually he had to step down. They made him step down from his justice post or whatever he was doing in the judicial system. And this just goes to show you the hypocrisy of Will T. Scott. That just shows you the hypocrisy. He wants to expand the drug war to where they're coming after your kids. He wants to get a juvenile court that's statewide, so that way he'll be throwing any kid that might be, on drugs into fucking prison. And, that's just, it's backwards. One good thing, I'll give credit where credit is due. Jack Conway has got a lot of money for substance abuse treatment. And that's absolutely the right way to go. Substance abuse treatment. It's a public health issue. We shouldn't be criminalizing people who either are sick, in the mind and just need their fix, or people who are miserable and they're just trying to escape, their miserable life. So we don't need to be criminalizing them. It's a public health issue, and we see right here the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy. Again, just like with Mike O'Connell, big fucking advocates, fuck everybody, fuck the world. We got drug stores, we got alcohol. They give some of the worst shit out to people, but who gives a fuck? We're a hypocritical fucking nation. And so there's actually a country in South America, Mujica, who had said, Mujica had got government into the business of marijuana to undercut the drug dealers. If we were to stop the war on drugs, the war on drugs benefits the law enforcement community and the drug dealers. Drug dealers are making a shit ton of money because it's illegal. Just like with Prohibition. Joe Kennedy made his fortune off of the prohibition of alcohol. And so that's what we're doing. We have lots of Al Capones today. And so if you want to put the drug dealers out of business and stop with the police state, then we would end the war on drugs. The war on drugs is just a way to attack us. It makes me think of a Tupac quote. They have a war in the streets, a war in the Middle East. They don't have a war on poverty, but they do have a war on drugs so the police can bother me. And that's exactly it. That's exactly what we're looking at here. And the war on terrorism increases terrorism. The war on drugs increases drugs. You're not stopping anything. You're trying to attack supply side. What about demand? Let's talk economics. Why is there such a demand? Mexico is making bank and has all the fucking bloodshed and shit because America keeps buying all these drugs from everybody. So since there's a huge demand, then there's a huge profit incentive for someone to risk it, right? Risk being a drug dealer and hope that they don't get caught or whatever. If they don't get caught, good for them. In the meantime, they can make a shit ton of money. And the law enforcement agencies make a shit ton of money off of this. So, that's what would happen if we actually had a sensible policy. But we don't have a sensible policy. We're not actually talking about what could actually solve the situation. I remember speaking up about this issue, and he went to the conference. Barack Obama went to some South African conference, and he says he would not consider legalization as an option. So he took the only fucking option off the table that would work. That's like going to ground zero and being like, look, I'm not going to clean up the streets. I'm not going to rebuild, anything here. We're going to take those options off the table, and I'm willing to talk about any other options. What other fucking options are there? The absolute solution, is thrown off the table. No, we need a fucking common sense fucking policy. This is America. We have a right to our own bodies, especially the adults. And if people want to do that shit, I think regulate it just like you do with alcohol and cigarettes. Just regulate it. Have a red light district. This is where the bad stuff that adults are allowed to do can go. You can have a police force there, so shit ain't fucking going crazy and shit, and it would all be legal. So I don't see a fucking problem with it. It just seems that people are fucking. That's just the marijuana issue. Just shows how the old don't know shit about the world. They don't know shit. They've been lying to you, lying to your faces. The hippies are smoking pot. and doing LSD and every goddamn, fucking thing else out there in the world. So, they're a bunch of fucking hypocrites, and it's absolute bullshit. This is how the youth know that the old are lying, because if you can't tell the truth about that, what do you tell the truth about? Anything? Do y'all have any type of morality? Do you fucking tell the truth about a goddamn thing? So this is Will T. Scott, fucking hypocrite extraordinaire, right? He says, Gray said that Scott did not sell Adderall. He had a legal prescription, right? She said she was feeling terrible, and Andrew said he had something he could give her. Gray argued to the judge that Scott was entrapped because the woman continued to ask for drugs until eventually he complied. The judge lowered the charge to a lesser felony, and prosecutors offered a plea deal that could lead to a Class 2 misdemeanor conviction of possession of a controlled substance, which is a lesser offense than reckless driving. So the other issue I want to talk about was something else. What the fuck was I saying? Oh, man, I should say the idea when I think about it, because I wanted to talk about... I don't know. So, okay, we'll just keep on going with what I got here. So, I want to talk about the economy, right? I had mentioned... What did I mention from before? I'll have to play this tape again or whatever to find out the idea I want to talk about, because there's a lot of issues that we need to be confronted with, and you want, to make money. Justice Will T. Scott says, let's get into casinos. That's how we're going to save money. We're going to save money, but he's sitting there talking about how Frankfurt is doing it, and he's like, going deeper in debt, massive taxes, slashing vital services, not solutions for the pension system. Keep the promise. Okay? So going deeper in debt, they are the solution from this article here, that Frankfurt is coming up with a shortfall. So we have the teacher pension system that has like about $30 billion missing. Okay? How did all that money go missing? They've been paying into the pensions. Where did that money go? So the idea right now to get that $30 billion in shortfall is to raise revenues. And how are you going to raise revenues? Well, so far Frankfurt wants to borrow some money. They want to borrow some money, put it into the stock market with bonds, right? They want to borrow money through bonds, put it in the stock market, and then have that money grow. While I believe that would work, because, investing in America, a lot of the top, not 1%, but the 0.001%, right? The fucking tiny sliver of ultra super fucking wealthy fuckers, that own basically, 4/5 of the world. They, they take all the fucking money and shit. But the idea, I think that America is strong. So they're taking all the fucking profits and they're not passing out to any of the working class peoples. Now, if we come down to, what Frankfurt is doing in order to solve the Kentucky teacher retirement services is that they're going to borrow money and invest it in the bond market. So I think it'll work, but I think it'll work marginally. It'll be barely. They'll make only a little bit of money. In fact, some of these statistics quoted here says that there's only a few people make any money in the bond markets. Let's see. You said the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College looked at 3,000 such bonds issued during between 1986 and 2009, found that only bonds issued a very long time ago during dramatic stock downturns had a positive result. So, only things that were issued a long time ago made any money. Lexington had issued $130 million in bonds for its police and fire pension fund, but only set things on the right path after a thorough reform of the system combined with a commitment to annual government contributions. Again, the government is bailing them out. They're taking taxpayer money in order to fucking, pay for this shit. So his idea is a better one. Casinos is a better idea to solve the pension problem, because casinos will bring in lots of money from the licenses that they have out to the actual tax revenues that they make. And so that idea would work. The problem with casinos is the same fucking issue that everybody had an issue with casinos before, is that you're fucking over the working class peoples. You're going to build up a fucking casino, working class people's going to lose all their goddamn money, and then these fucking rich fucking aristocrats are going to take all the damn money and do whatever the fuck they want to do with it. We hope they fucking pay and put it into vital services, but I doubt it. He's a Republican. And that's another thing, I guess, that's what I want to talk about. What are the vital services? What are the vital services that Judge Will T. Scott believes in? Do you believe in universal health care? Probably not, because you're a fucking Republican. Do you believe in education? Do you believe in child care? Do you believe in the Women's Crisis Center? What the fuck kind of vital services are there? Food, water, clothing, shelter. These are the basic services that people need to live. And in America, we should have a right to live. The guaranteed income is one of the best fucking ideas I have ever come across. both Milton Friedman and Martin Luther King Jr. agrees with it. And when Milton Friedman and Martin Luther King agrees with an idea, fucking do it. They're talking about a guaranteed income. Everybody gets $10,000. That cures fucking poverty. And then it also gives, middle class and richer folks some extra money to spend, right? And who couldn't use an extra $10,000? Instead of having all these different agencies, LIHEAP and WIC and all these different welfare agencies, which white Kentucky fucking loves. They've been sucking the teat of fucking the federal government, for a long ass time. They're fucking poor as shit. That's what they do. Clay County, 90% of them are fucking pouring on the dole, and 90% of them are fucking Republican. Right? Fucking hypocritical fucking bastard rat fucks. So, slashing vital services is not solution. Absolutely. They're not talking about vital services, but I want to know what the fuck he thinks are vital services. Now, a juvenile fucking drug court and a prison. Will T. Scott wants to build a prison. So he wants to increase the prisons. He's not talking about building schools. He's not talking about building hospitals. He's not going to clear up the fucking corruption in the police department or the road funds. He just wants to, I don't even know where he's coming from. I don't know what his ideological, what is his overarching theory? What does he actually govern himself on? Is there any type of thing, or just kind of pick and choose and listen to fucking Glenn Beck and then just, well, Glenn Beck said this. A guaranteed income would fucking solve the poverty thing and give everybody the vital services that they need. So that's another good idea that I'm not hearing about. So these assholes are fucking hypocrites, So when he talks about charter schools, I think it's a good idea. That's what I want to talk about. Aha! So he wants to talk about charter schools, and the thing that I come across with him in charter schools is that there is he wants the charter schools to be directly accountable to the executive branch. So he wants to be able to install his own charter schools. And will the charter schools have freedom? He doesn't sound like a freedom kind of guy, to be honest with you. He talks about freedom of choice for parents to oppress their kids. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, he says, let kids be kids so they can find out who they actually are, and then, we can learn from that. They could become strong young people and super men, young men, super women, and then they could be good people. You build people strong, they will be good. And so he wants the issue with having the charter schools going directly to the executive branches. He wants all the power. That's tyranny. That's totalitarian fascism. So he wants to be able to build brand new schools, but in his image. The schools will not be accountable to the Department of Education. The charter schools that he's promising will not be accountable to the school boards. And while I have, my issues with the current school systems, the fact that we have school boards, the fact that we have the council, the site-based council meetings, these are democratic tools to encourage the parents and encourage people in the community to weigh in on how they want their schools to be managed and how they want their schools to be designed. And so by passing that, that's anti-democratic. It's anti-democracy. Nobody's weighing in on what the fuck kind of charter schools he wants to pass and what he doesn't want to pass. So before I, say that I like his idea, I like charter schools. I like the idea of having choice, and because I think there's totalitarian fascism. The teachers believe in 100% compliance. Shut the fuck up, kid. You're going to get a job, going to go to a corporation to suck some fucking boss's dick, so you don't have any rights. Just know your place in this world. You're nothing but a fucking wage slave. And that's bullshit. Nobody's going to fucking come out of that fucking culture and be a goddamn, whatever. They're not going to be successful. In fact, the greatest indication of whether or not a person is going to succeed from school is their parents' wealth. If their parents are wealthy, they'll do okay. If their parents are poor, they will be poor. So the school does not increase social mobility. The schools are not helping our kids. Schools ain't teaching us what we need in order to survive. There's a quote from Dead Prez. So that's that's a little bit more with Will T. Scott, and just mentioning things just to be mentioning. Shit. You have, James Comer, and you have Hal Heiner. Both of these are fucking assholes when it comes to the unions. How did we get the 40-hour work week? How did we get 8-hour work days? How did we get overtime? How did we get weekends? Before we were wage slaves, the industrialized society wanted us to be cheap fucking labor. And the unions, not only did they protect their workers inside there, but they also lobbied government so they could have better fucking deals. You know, when you got health care through your fucking employer, that's because of government. You have weekends off, that's because of government. Child labor was outlawed because, you know, of the unions. And so the unions historically have been the vehicle that people have used in order to get change, substantial amount of change. And unions create solidarity. They have a, you know, buddy-buddy system. You have somebody looking over your back, and you get to keep your dignity. You don't go into a fucking job and just have to kiss the boss's ass the entire fucking time. You actually get to keep your dignity. You actually get to keep who you actually are. And so that's, you know, that's that. Unions are very important, and James Comer and Hal Heiner are against the unions. They're against unions. They're against working class people. They don't give a shit about working class people or farmers. You want to sit there and talk about, you know, who's on top and who's on bottom? The farmers, you know, small farmers, small business owner, and working class people, we all in the same boat. You know, people act like because they barely above somebody that they're so much fucking better than them. You ain't better than nobody. You know, you the fucking 0.0001% is fucking raping the shit out of you. Mitch McConnell, he sucks fucking coke dick and is going to fucking parcel out Kentucky and sell all of our natural resources and raw materials to the highest bidder. And he's going to get the money. They'll profit. Kentucky gets nothing. You know, the Pennsylvania Power and Light owns Kentucky Utilities. So who profits off of Kentucky coal? Who profits? I'll tell you who profits off of Kentucky coal. Some Pennsylvania fucking aristocratic fucking piece of shit CEO. That's who fucking profits off of Kentucky coal. That's our coal. We should keep it. Nationalize coal. Land reform. Get an NBA team in here. Legalize marijuana. There's $4 billion ideas there. You want to make some money? Fuck the casinos. You know, we got casino gaming type of capitalism. That's what blew up the world in 2008. I don't think fucking gambling, you know, is the best fucking way to do this. And actually, I'll even attack the fucking bond issue. So to solve the teacher pensions, they're going to gamble with that money. What if the economy does have a downturn? What if, you know, they're relaxing the financial fucking regulations? What if they do the exact same shit, and then everybody is fucked because America doesn't know how to fucking balance a checkbook? Because the bankers sits there and gives out all these home loans to people, jacks up their interest 5 fucking times the amount, and then they lose every goddamn thing. Good for the banks, right? They got the land, they got the house, fuck the people. We have 22 empty houses for every single homeless person. There is a coordination failure when it comes to the economy. They're the people who need jobs, people who work, people need to live and have a house and have clothing and basic vital services. Where are these basic vital services at? They're nowhere to be found. The rich fucking got a absolute hold on this system. Warren Buffett said, well, you know, if there is a class war, which there probably is, my class has won. The rich people have fucking won. And George Carlin warned us that they're going to take our Social Security. That's what Mitch McConnell's going to do, take Social Security. So you stupid backwards, hillbilly, fucking inbred, dumb fucks who's fucking racist as shit, bunch of racist child beaters, fucking assholes, you motherfuckers are going to fucking screw over America because you're fucking stupid. Because you're stupid and you don't understand any goddamn thing about the fucking world. And it's bullshit. So, that's, you know, that's that issue. So, the economy. Hal Heiner mentioned this, and I'm going to mention it again because that's all I'm talking about is the economy. That's all Jeff Young is talking about. Class war. He's talking about racism, abortion, energy policy, and class war. Class war. It's about the economics, stupid. It's all about the economics. That's all that it matters. If working class people have more money, middle class people have more money, that means money goes into the economy. There's exchange of goods and services. The economy is working, and it's a good thing. The bad thing about economics and people who just purely deal in economics and fuck the politics, unfortunately, capitalism doesn't cure fucking poverty. Capitalism doesn't cure pollution. They're going to make a shit ton of fucking money and fuck everybody else off. That's why we need democracy. That's why we need the fucking politics. You make your damn money. That's fine, no problem. But don't fucking pollute your shit in our streams. Don't sit there and, you know, treat the workers like shit. Pay them a fucking wage that they can't even survive on. The human rights and making profits should not be contradicting. They're not inherently contradictive. You know, why can't we have human rights and have a company that makes money? Not a contradiction. We should be able to do it. if we have a educated populace and citizenry that knows, that knows how the fucking system works and how power and dignity and how this shit works. So Hal Heiner talks about how we're 46 in per capita income. So per capita, per person, we have the lowest amount of income in the entire United States. So, Bashir says, oh, nobody can say that the economy is bad. No, fucking Bashir, you made advancements, okay? There is improvement in the economy. We're not even close to where we want to be. Land reform, immediately, you would have people producing stuff, having higher exports. Immediately, that would generate, that would be a stimulus. That would put a jolt into the economy, and there would be more money. Legalizing marijuana would be a jolt into the economy, and you make a ton of money. You'd also be able to pay for your fucking pensions too, and your bridges, and schools, and hospitals, and insurance, and LIHEAP, and WIC, and all the other services that people need. No, nobody should be living off the government. I don't hear any Americans talking about wanting to live off the fucking government. Even you look at Clay County. They live off the fucking government in Clay County and Owsley County, the poorest fucking counties in all of America. They live off the government. If the government cuts their services, they fucking die. They starve to death in the goddamn streets. You cut Social Security, all the fucking old people are going to fucking die, starve in the streets. But if you ask them what their politics are, oh, we don't want them damn black people with their limousines and the welfare queens, taking all our tax dollars. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you stupid motherfucker. They're not taking all the tax dollars. You fucking white, poor motherfuckers are taking the poor tax dollars. You old people with the Social Security are taking tax dollars. The military-industrial complex taking tax dollars. That's where our taxes are being spent. The vast majority, 80-90% of the federal budget is military, Social Security. And Empire don't help me. What the hell does Empire help working class Joe in motherfucking America? Killing more people? You're creating more terrorists. Just like the war on drugs and the war on poverty, right? You get more poverty, more drugs, and more terrorism. Let's stop declaring war on things, or let's just declare war on things let's declare war on wealth. Everybody will get wealthy then. Let's declare war on anything you want. Declare war on it, and you'll get more of it because these incompetent fucking bureaucrats don't know what the fuck they're doing. So 46 in per capita income. We got the lowest amount of money, almost the lowest amount of money in the entire country. And so that's per capita, per person. We are sucking ass. Per individual, we suck ass in terms of how much income everybody gets. And we're 41st in unemployment. So they keep bragging about the unemployment numbers, but the unemployment numbers don't cover all the unemployment numbers. And we're 41st. We're in the bottom fucking 10. We're in the bottom of the barrel. Kentucky's statistics have been in the bottom of the barrel since statistics have been in play, since we've been looking at this stuff and seeing the numbers. We've been the bottom of the barrel when it comes to having so much fucking cancer, pollution. The education is fucking shitty. People aren't learning their democratic fucking rights and how to assert themselves, how to stand up for themselves, how to tolerate different viewpoints, how to discuss politics. In fact, it's almost like in civil society, we don't talk about politics. That's what they said at Crystal Lake, the bar that fucking killed a man. They killed a fucking man and threw him into his pond, and then they're going to have enough gall to say, don't talk politics. Or what, you going to kill me and throw me in the fucking pond if I do? Yeah, that's censorship. Okay, of course they don't want you to talk about politics because they're for censorship. They're a bunch of tyrannical fucking dickholes, and fuck a tyrannical fucking dickhole. So we're low in unemployment. We're low in per capita income. Our economy is not good. It is not good compared to Germany, compared to Norway, Sweden, Netherlands, Liechtenstein, even Qatar. Check out Qatar. Qatar's fucking just kicking ass. Singapore. All these great economies in the entire world are doing better than Kentucky. And those are just the nation states. Look at the corporations. There's corporations that's doing better than Kentucky. And if you got a higher GDP than the state, if you're a corporation making a higher, like Walmart makes a higher GDP than the entire state of Kentucky. Walmart steals our resources, uses us for cheap labor, takes all the profits to Arkansas. So we're making some rich fucking businessmen in Arkansas a shit ton of fucking money. They have a private totalitarian tyranny. There's no freedom, no rights for anybody who works in Walmart. You're on the fucking bottom of the chain. You're a damn worker bee. Shut your mouth and do what the fuck you're told. And these conservatives, oh, what a great business model. Yeah, it's a great business model. Cut people's wage, don't treat people right, and you can, take a shit ton of money off their fucking backs. If you hear a rich person say the only way you can get money, if you hear a rich person say the only way to get wealthy and successful is through hard work, just ask that motherfucker who's hard work. Because it's the poor fucking people, it's the Mexicans, it's the poor whites getting $7 a fucking hour. You know what minimum wage is in Switzerland? $20 an hour. They have 33-hour work weeks, free college, free education, free health care, and free child care. And they're going to talk about getting a guaranteed minimum income, $10,000 for every person on the street. $10,000 for every person on the street. Switzerland is doing that. Kentucky could benefit. And in the great pool of ideas, the best ideas should prevail. Guaranteed income, that's just such a pretty, perfect fucking idea. I am absolutely in love with the guaranteed income. The guaranteed income, $10,000 for everybody, instead of having all these different agencies, ineffectual, inefficient things, giving out monies in different types of fucking agencies. Give everybody a flat check. Everybody gets fucking $10,000. Now, that covers your basic services. You can live off that. If you want to get more than just bare survival, you go out and you hustle. And, with the robotics, with the mechanization, with the outsourcing, we're going to need that money. That's what they did with the the tobacco fucking welfare check, right? These farmers get tobacco welfare. And the idea was the tobacco buyout was they get a check because tobacco is going down. It's becoming, China, Brazil, they're being able to produce tobacco at a much cheaper rate than what America is doing. And so that means the tobacco farmers need to invest in a new industry so they continue to make money. So the tobacco farmers, without going to doing a goddamn thing, got a fucking check. You want to talk about welfare? That's fucking welfare. And you assholes want to sit there and talk about what? The black people are taking all the fucking welfare. What about them farmers taking all the goddamn tobacco money? That's welfare. That's free money. That's my money going into their fucking pockets. And for what? Because their industry is going down? Man, we keep on saving these motherfuckers. We save the big banks. I thought capitalism is you sink or swim, right? If you're a poor fucking black dude or if you're a fucking homeless, you sink or swim, fuck you. But if you're a farmer who owns shit tons of acres of fucking tobacco, if you're a big ass bank, you get bailed out. Does this sound right to anybody? The hypocrisy is just, it's too much. You can't breathe. How can you breathe with this shit? The fucking hypocrisy is too much. You're going to sit there and take tobacco welfare. You're sit there and take Social Security welfare. And then you're going to hate on the fucking blacks just because you're a racist piece of shit. Fuck you, damn racist. You fucking hypocritical fucking racist. Stealing my tax dollars and pretending like you a good ass fucking person. Last thing I want to do is talk about, since I mentioned the economy, and I'm guessing people are actually going to watch these videos because I'm talking about the campaign. Here are a list of countries by GDP per capita. You want to learn what other countries are doing that are doing well? Take a look at this list. Take a look at just the top 10. This is per capita, who is producing the most stuff. Go to Milton Friedman. His entire, it's not easily boiled down to that, but one of his big tenets of his school of thought about economics is to have exports. The more exports an economy can produce, the more money it will be able to make. More exports, 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 exports. Milton Friedman 101. Okay, that's what they want to do in Chile. Export. It makes sense in terms of a farm. You own a farm, you produce a lot of tomatoes, and you export it, out to the community. But we're talking about exports out of the state and get into other markets. China, Brazil, all these other different markets. And when we can do that, when we can have exports, that's when our standard of living will be able to sell. By producing more shit, we'll be able to sell more shit, and then the standard of living will go up. So that's, Milton Friedman, exports, exports, exports. So the GDP is how much stuff that per person can be produced. So you have Qatar, Luxembourg, Singapore, Brunei, Kuwait, Norway, United Arab Emirates, San Marino, Switzerland, and the U.S. Okay, so the top 9 right there: Switzerland, San Marino, United Arab Emirates, Norway, Kuwait, Brunei, Singapore, Luxembourg, Qatar. We can learn from every one of those fucking countries. They are efficient as fuck. They're, each one of their fucking people is making a shit ton of stuff, and because each one of their people are like, power booms of export creating citizens, because they are able to, just create a bunch of stuff. Each citizen, the entire economy is being helped. Luxembourg, Qatar, these are dots on the map. Singapore's a tiny ass country. Kuwait, Norway always ranks the top. United Arab Emirates has a huge ass skyscraper. San Marino, I don't know much about San Marino. Switzerland, I've been talking all about Switzerland. They can do socialism and capitalism better than America, better than Kentucky. The great pool of ideas, the best ideas will succeed. So we need to do what the best ideas are out here. That's the great thing about America. We're the great melting pot. And out of many, there is one. So out of many ideas, we're going to take the fucking best ideas. Why would we not? Oh, that's a good idea. Fuck that. We'd rather be dumb and stupid and racist. We'd rather be able to beat the shit out of our kids and worship the fucking devil. Stupid ass motherfucking inbred backwards assholes. So this, not knowing the economy, that's a problem of education. Not knowing how our civics and democracy works, that's a problem of education. There is a huge problem with education, and I like the idea of charter schools. I don't like the way that Will T. Scott is talking about it because he wants total control over it. If he tells me more about what those type of charter schools are, what it's going to consist of, how it's going to happen, I'll be more likely to listen. But if it's just going to be a bunch of private schools taking public monies, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck that. If anything, we should have, I don't know. I think charter schools, give me a fucking charter school, I'll be happy. Because I would have a freedom school. I would, make people to be strong and capable and smart. They would be getting along with each other, learn how to work together, and that's good for networking so we could get jobs and we have good friends and can go on and do great things. And by actually reading the books and talking about them, it is by our expression as a student. When we read it and then express ourselves, that's when we know the knowledge enough to be able to say something about it. That's what needs to happen. That would be the school, my dream school scenario. Unfortunately, all you guys are a bunch of totalitarian, tyrannical pieces of shit that says shut up and sit down. They are, you're supposed to learn from them just by the virtue of their power. And frankly, if you need violence to back up your idea ain't worth a shit. So that was just the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the CIA. Here's the ones that they say are kicking ass per capita. Macau, that's like a little fucking dot. That's like Hong Kong off of China. Qatar's fucking kicking ass. They got a kings and queens actually in Qatar. Luxembourg, that's the Duke of Luxembourg. So they still have aristocrat, but that's a constitutional parliamentary system. So they have democracy too. Kuwait. Right, that blows my mind. Kuwait is fucking kicking. What the fuck is Kuwait doing? Let's learn what Kuwait is doing. Singapore, they have a bunch of financial people, and I'm gonna do a video actually right after this, just talk about how the fucking the greatest. There's a list I have of all the greatest per capita of GDP, and so I'm going to read that next time. But this Singapore, Brunei, Norway, again, we're seeing the same fucking countries on these lists. United Arab Emirates, Switzerland, Saudi Arabia, right? Hong Kong, Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. The Bermuda Triangle. You go down there, you get fucking lost, right? Or maybe you get shit tons of fucking money. You go to Bermuda and you just start making a shit ton of money. And then the CIA, Qatar, Liechtenstein, Macau, Bermuda, Monaco, Luxembourg, Singapore, Jersey. That's not New Jersey. What the fuck is Jersey? I'm going to take a look at Jersey, and I'm going to take a look at San Marino. Somebody was sitting there saying that Costa Rica is like one of the poorest countries in the world, but Costa Rica is one of the happiest countries in the world. So, wealth and happiness doesn't always go hand in hand. So just the idea of some of the culture that they do. The Netherlands has a culture of, caring about one another. The Costa Ricans have a culture of caring about one another. I don't know how you build a culture of us giving a shit. You would think Christians who love their enemies and turn the other cheeks are humble, good, tolerant people. You think they would be nicer. And there's good and bad in every group, right? There's good and bad. But I see more bad than I see good. I see a lot of people being stupid ass, a bunch of shitty fucking assholes. I got mine, fuck you. That's the American motto, right? I got mine, fuck all y'all. And how did they get yours? Oh, well, I got it from the government. I'm a fucking welfare queen. Tobacco farmers taking their free money. You all welfare queens, tobacco queens, right? And tobacco, what is that? To give people cancer and shit? Yeah, that's a great fucking idea. Let's finish this list off. Norway, Falkland Islands. That's off the, that's Argentina. San Marino again, Switzerland, Brunei, the Isle of Man. All these countries we can learn from. What are they doing? How are they producing more stuff? And when you produce more stuff, the standard of living will go up. That's economics 101. So, believe it if you will. That's what the economists are saying. So when the economist says, our economy is good, our economy is bad, they're talking about how much shit you fucking produce. Jersey, officially the bailiwick of Jersey, is a possession of the crown and the right of Jersey. Okay. So it's off the top of France. That's Jersey. I never even heard of Jersey. It consists of the island of Jersey, other reefs. It was a part of the Duchy of Normandy, whose dukes went on to become kings of England in 1066. After Normandy was lost by the kings of England in the 13th century, the ducal title surrendered to France. It's a self-governing parliamentary democracy under a constitutional monarchy. Again, another fucking monarchy. I cannot believe how many kings and queens are still around today. I thought the French Revolution was a strong cut in American or world history, human history, because it says this is how the royalists were acting, and now we're going to go towards freedom and democracy. But, these countries are kicking ass, and they got an aristocracy. So, I don't know. Maybe we need a royal family just to fucking champion and cheer on. But what kind of royal family you want? I like the Obamas. The Obamas are a cool-ass fucking royal family. Can we get a cool fucking royal family up in here? The Brashears, are they going to be the Kentucky's royal family? The Brashears are from Dawson Springs, and the KKK headquarters are situated right fucking there. Big surprise that Steve Brashear's a fucking bigot when it comes to the homosexuals. The South, who is against civil rights, are also one of the biggest people against homosexuals. So a big fucking surprise, right? A bunch of fucking ignorant ass, backwards, bigoted, fucking child-beating pieces of shit. Yeah, big fucking shocker there, right? Big fucking shocker that they're going to be bigoted, right? San Marino, officially the Republic of San Marino, the most serene Republic of San Marino, is an enclaved microstate surrounded by Italy. A microstate. Again, it's another fucking dot. It don't even look like it's by fucking Italy. It looks like it's by Greenland. So, whatever. It's a microstate, and they're kicking ass. So that's San Marino. And these are the countries that's kicking ass when it comes to individual, GDP. Now, some good news. Kentucky is one of the fastest growing states in exporting products. So when I was talking about exports, Milton Friedman 101, that is what I'm talking about. Exporting products. The more you export, the better, the nation will be. And so we're increasing. We're getting better with our exports. So good, but not fast enough, We're like, out of the world's economy, we're like number 100 out of 200 countries. We're number 100. I think we can do better, Being in America, we got all these markets. You got, Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee. You got the entire country of America to sell shit to. And Americans have money. So, we should be doing way better than this. But, we give credit where credit is due. The U.S. Department of Commerce has released new data showing the impact of exporting on our national economy, with Kentucky as one of only 11 states to achieve double-digit export growth last year from 2011. In reality, Kentucky did much more. It proved its position as one of the best-performing states in 2012. Not only is this a remarkable moment in time for the state, but for the job-creating businesses and the workers who made it possible. The latest export data proved that significant and serious business opportunities exist beyond our borders. In fact, 95% of the world's consumers live outside the United States. For many Kentucky companies, international marketing has become a critical element to business sustainability and growth. So, whatever. In 2012, nearly $22 billion in merchandise was exported from Kentucky, equating to the preservation and creation of thousands of jobs in industries, including transportation, trucking, airlines, taxis, chemical production. There's a lot of chemical plants, chemical factories, and manufacturing. Again, more factories, manufacturing, steel and stuff. One of the specific companies that they talk about is Louisville Shamrock Marketing. In Shamrock Marketing, they are a family-owned company that develops technologies for remanufacturing commercial vehicle tires. Commercial vehicle tires, who knew you could make a shit ton of fucking money off of it? But to remanufacture their tires, they've been able to export into different new markets: Germany, Poland, Philippines, and the UK. And they landed a significant number of new contracts in the process. The company reports having doubled its sales and credits the U.S. Commercial Service of Kentucky for helping make it possible. So the U.S. Commercial Service, that's the federal government. The U.S. Commercial Service, a key part of the International Trade Administration, the U.S. Commercial Service provides local businesses with trade counseling, market intelligence, business matching, and commercial diplomacy to connect with lucrative business opportunities. So really, all companies should be talking to the U.S. Commercial Services because you might be able to expand your markets elsewhere. So that's a little bit more about the economy. So we are improving. We are getting better. We're having more exports. But again, comparatively, compared to the rest of the nation, also in terms of income, in terms of employment, because higher GDP, while the standards should rise when we have more exports and have a higher GDP, it doesn't always. Producing more shit doesn't always create more jobs and higher paying jobs. And so we have to have a economic coordinator so that way the businesses can make money and profit and people can have jobs, can have good paying jobs that give them a livable wage. So, Kentucky's governorship, check it out. Johnny Masters, Viva la Revolution.